concerning the toppling of that statue in Bristol. This is what, within the last half an hour or so, how Sir Keir responded.
Shouldn't have been done in that way. Completely wrong to pull a statue down like that. But stepping back, that statue should have been brought down a long time, should have been taken down a long, long time ago. You can't in 21st century Britain have, a slaver on a statue. A statue is there to honour people, and you can't have that in 21st century Britain.
That's what Sir Keir said to me earlier in the hour. Let's put that to Lisa Bilal, who was one of the organisers of the Black Lives Matter protest in Bristol. Thank you for coming on the line. Your reaction to what... Thank you so much, yes. Your reaction to what happened to that statue. Good morning to you.
Good morning. So, first and foremost, I'd just like to say that the protest that we organised had all plans of being peaceful. We made that extremely clear to everybody that came. And so we, had no affiliation with the statue itself being toppled.
Right. Were you disappointed? I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, really I'm not, but were you disappointed? Were you angry? Were you relaxed? What was your reaction?
I think on initial response, I sort of didn't really have much time to feel anything about it because of the fact that I was, doing my duties as an organiser and coordinator. But I can't say that I am disappointed. I mean, I am a young black woman myself. I know the history. I know that Bristol itself has had, as I say, such a deep rooted history as one of the largest slave ports in Europe.
Right.
And
so
I think that
so you wouldn't have done it that way, but you're again, just to sum up, you're pleased to see the statue gone, but you wouldn't have done it in that fashion.
Most definitely.
Okay. What is it you're seeking? May I ask the purpose of your what is it you're seeking?
From I suppose the protest itself, what we were seeking was an open, real discussion and acknowledgement from Bristol and from the wider UK about the realities of systematic racism. And we wanted to show a unified front nationally. And there were protests going on in Manchester and London as well, and various other cities that we worked in conjunction with.
And how does that manifest itself to you? You say that you're a young black woman. This racism that you say is abroad, is around the country. How does that show itself to you on a daily or weekly basis?
I'd say on a daily and weekly basis it shows itself, especially in the UK, through microaggressions.
And what does that mean?
Microaggressions is essentially when people say racially insensitive things, but it's coded in such a way that it seems as though it's not racist. But anybody that has experienced racism, anybody that understands how racism works, anybody who is not ignorant is able to take that apart and realise that actually what somebody said to you was in fact racist.
Can you give me an example? Can you give me an example? So this is people being racist. Obviously, I'm not asking you to use foul language, but this is someone saying something racist, but they don't realise it. Is that what you're saying, Lisa?
Yes. So, for example, I had a situation where I was at work. I work in a pub. There was an older gentleman that came in, and I was taking their plates after they'd had a lovely roast. I was talking to them just about how nice the roast was, and one of the gentlemen said to me, So what's the food in your home country then?
I see.
What's the lunch in your home country?
Right.
He knew nothing about me. He didn't know whether I was born in the UK or not.
No.
He had just assumed that I did not belong here, and made it very clear that he felt that I was that somewhere else was home for me, and home was not here.
Right. Was he an older person? Not that it makes it right. I'm just interested in the age of the gentleman.
Yeah, he was an older gentleman, actually, yeah.
So my reason I asked, do you think that's dying out? People of your age, you don't know me, but I think I'm probably younger than that bloke. Do you think that is slowly fading away, Lisa?
I think in terms of ignorant statements such as that, I would say that ignorant statements such as that one are dying away. However, that does not mean that racism itself is dying away. There are new forms that are being created and adapted for our generation. So is it the same type of comments? No. But is it still racism? Yes.
Okay. Lastly, what should happen to the statue now that finds itself at the bottom of Bristol Harbour? Where should it go next? Oh, unless you're going to say it should stay there. What do you think should?
I am not opposed to it staying there, to be quite honest.
Under the harbour, in the harbour?
Yep, I do not think that we as it was mentioned before on the air, we shouldn't be having statues of, we shouldn't be continuing a legacy of people who have a history of violent racism in this country.
Should it not go in, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with Bristol Museum, but should it not go in the museum with an explanatory plaque or post? Sorry, go ahead.
I think if it were to go in the museum, as you said, there would have to be, for me personally, to be satisfied, a plaque that acknowledges the fact that his statue is not there as a commemoration, but as an educational tool to remind us of the history of Bristol and to make sure that we don't repeat the same thing again.
But to educate people not to make offensive remarks to you about Sunday dinner, that this would be the way of educating people. We're not going to educate anybody with keeping it in the water, are we? Respectfully.
Well, I think that keeping it under the water actually is a tool of education, because it's letting people know that we don't stand for the legacy of racists in this country. And furthermore, it was the people that tore it down and the people that made their voices heard after years of trying to have this statue taken down via petitions. So I think actually maybe it's staying in the river would make a more poignant point.
Statement. All right. I'm grateful for your time this morning. Thank you, Lisa.